Hello. TGIF. Thank goodness it is Friday. No one wants me singing, but it's Friday. Some weeks I feel like I make it and I'm like, it's Friday, it's glorious. And then other weeks I think maybe I'm like skidding into home base, getting to Friday. But it's actually been a great week. I kind of chuckle when I look back. Got locked out of my house. It was a little wild, but it's been great. I'm so happy to come to you today and talk to you about the end of dieting. Dr. Furman's book. We've been reading it for the virtual book club. Do me a favor. Let me know if you can hear me out there. If you can see me, hopefully you can see me, right? And oh, hi, I was just on Facebook, but you can't type comments there. Hey, no problem, because clearly I can't see comments there. I finally figured it out. I've been having a little internal battle with Facebook, but I figured out what's going on. So yay, I'm so glad that you're here. Let me know. Hey, Nora, let me know if you are reading along with us or just kind of watching along and learning with us. It's a great book, right? Like, I'm such a nutrition nerd. I am a dietitian. I've been plant-based for a really long time. I don't know, maybe not a really long time compared to other people, but I would say over 10 years. I'm not even sure the exact number. But even before then, I would consider myself plant-based or plant predominant. And, I just kind of morph and grow as I go along. Happy to have a second go around. Oh, Margaret, thank you. Thank you for letting me know your name. So happy that you guys are here. I'm happy that we get to talk about nutrition. Like, it's all good. Happy that I'm wearing my kindness shirt. You can't quarantine kindness. Wanted to put that out there in the world a little bit today. Like, how can we be kind to others? But also, how can we be kind to ourselves, right? And being kind to ourselves, in my opinion, starts with good nutrition and good health and wellness. So, chapter 3, he talks about it. The title is The End of Dieting of the book, and of chapter 3, right? So he talks about yo-yo dieting and why that's just so not good for us. But interestingly enough, I think so many of us have yo-yo dieted throughout our lives, right? But what happens when we're yo-yo dieting? We are losing weight. And a lot of times when we lose weight quickly, especially if we're losing weight on some of those like diets that, some of the less optimal diets, I'm not going to call any out, but I think we all know what I'm talking about, right? So, we're losing muscle and we're losing some fat, right? The fat's good. The muscle, we lose a little bit of muscle every time we lose weight. It's just the way it is, and that's why we got to continue to exercise and do some weight bearing activities. But what happens is, after we've lost all that weight, right? Like, we go on these crazy restrictive diets, we use willpower, we get our weight back down, and then we go back to the original weight. What you gain back is fat. You're not gaining back muscle, right? When you go back to your standard foods that you're used to eating. So over time, if you kind of can follow that pattern, over time, we're losing fat and muscle, we're gaining back fat. We're losing fat and muscle, we're gaining back fat. So we're replacing the muscle weight with fat weight. And, when we gain that abdominal fat, that visceral fat, that's the unhealthy fat. That visceral fat is around all of our organs, right? That's what's responsible for diabetes and cancer and heart disease. And we want to make sure that fat gets reduced. And, someone had asked me, how do we know that we're reducing that fat? Well, when we're reducing fat overall, we're losing it from the different areas. And a lot of times you can tell, right? You have a lot of weight around your stomach. Take those measurements, those waist measurements, right? There are waist measurements and suggested numbers to be under for men and women. And so, that's one way of kind of monitoring how much abdominal fat, how much of that visceral fat that you are losing or gaining, right? That's why that waist measurement is so important. Then there's the subcutaneous fat, like that's the fat like directly under your skin. If you pinch your skin, that's the fat there that you're feeling. I don't know if you ever watch any of those surgery shows or anything like that when they, cut in, and sometimes you can see the fat. It's like the yellow fat when they're doing those surgery shows. Am I the only one that watches those? I don't know. It kind of tells you I sit home reading nutrition books and watching surgery shows. I am fun. Hey, I do fun stuff too. It's just part of what I do. So, you know, he really talks about how that yo-yo dieting changes the type of fat that is being stored as well, especially if you're eating a high protein diet, like an Atkins like diet. And when you're gaining the fat, you're gaining that saturated fat, right? It's raising your cholesterol because that's the kind of food that you're eating. It's not like you're eating a bunch of nuts when you're on those high protein diets, right? So the fat that you gain back is that saturated fat. So, weight cycling, that's what the yo-yo dieting, weight cycling, right? Kind of the same thing. It's just not healthy. It lowers your HDL. HDL is the good cholesterol, right? It raises your LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. Um, and it even increases your blood pressure. So it's increasing your risk for heart attacks and strokes. It's increasing your insulin levels. So this is really why we really want to veer away from those yo-yo diets. And that's why I always am teaching. And, Sherry teaches it as well. And Dr. Furman, like, this is a lifestyle. What we're doing is we're changing our life. And I'm super big into what kind of incremental, like small changes that you can make in your life that are sustainable. I don't want you to make a change that you're just going to be able to do this week. I want you to make a change that you can do for the rest of your life. I don't want you to have that yo-yo mentality, that weight cycling, for many reasons, right? Like mentally, it's super hard on us, but physically, as I'm explaining now, it's not good for us physically to be weight cycling over and over again. So, tell me if you have done the yo-yo diet before, the people that are watching. If you're watching on replay, also comment along. I come back, I check it out. So if you're on replay, let me know. I'm super interested. I'm wondering how many people struggle with this yo-yo dieting. And I'm not talking about like 3 or 4 pounds, right? Like, so we cycle. Like, to this day, I probably cycle maybe 2 pounds, more or less. My weight goes up and down 2 pounds. And I don't really consider that yo-yo dieting. That's not a weight fluctuation to me. Those are normal weight changes. So, start to be cognizant, start to be aware of that, and start to be aware of the changes that you're making in your life, and how can you make those changes last forever? How can they be a lifestyle change and not just something temporary? He talks about ketosis, right? And so many people are like, oh, ketosis is a great thing, right? I lose weight because I'm in ketosis. But like, let's take a deeper look at ketosis and why it's not so good. So what happens in ketosis is the acid levels in your bloodstream go up, but your body doesn't like that. Your body doesn't want your blood to be acidic. So it leaches some calcium from the bones, right? It uses these stored minerals to reduce the acidity. And we don't want minerals being leached from our bones, right? Like, what happens when we're doing that? Like, we're breaking down our bones. We're not being healthy. So, we excrete more calcium. We excrete potassium and magnesium. We create these mineral deficiencies and even electrolyte imbalances. And that's been part of the danger of this. Like, the electrolytes in your body, we are a well-oiled machine, so to speak. And so when these electrolytes get off, that can lead to the cardiac arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, kidney damage. I mean, he even writes about in the book a case where, like, a young woman, I think it was a young woman, had a heart attack, I believe, because of these electrolytes imbalances. That was what he was thinking that it was because of. So these high protein, low carb diets are just unhealthy for many reasons, but this ketosis is one of them, right? They're increasing our risk for cardiovascular disease and premature death. And aren't we all trying to like avoid premature death with eating healthy? So it kind of defeats the purpose in my mind. So Margaret has said, yes, she has of course, had yo-yo dieting since she was a teen, right? And I see that and trying to find the correct food plan for me, right? I see that with so many of my clients. They've struggled with their weight since they were young. And I would offer, like, it's not a correct food plan that we're after, right? It's that balance of what can we nourish our body with and what can we, like, really nourish our brain with as well. Like, how can we retrain? How can we look at our mindset? How can we put in good thoughts into our brain? And Nora said she's done the high protein, then did the counting calories, then she found how to end diabetes. And yeah, nutritarian is a choice of a lifestyle. It's totally sustainable. I agree. It's totally sustainable. But it's also, you'll see me in the same exact shirt. I just recorded a video for next week, and I talk about sustainability, but I also talk about, it's not this all or nothing. A lot of times we think we have to 100% follow this way of lifestyle, this way of living, this lifestyle. And, I would offer to you that we need to adopt changes that work for us so that we're not stuck in this yo-yo, right? It's all about increasing our health. So what can we do every day to increase our health? That's kind of going off a little bit on what this chapter is about, but that's really my philosophy. Like, how can we increase your personal health? One of the things that he said, which was funny, and it was, how cigarettes, I think they do. I don't buy cigarettes, but I think cigarettes, like, have this warning, like, may cause cancer, blah, blah, blah. And he was saying, imagine if, like, you went to get the latest silly high protein diet, like the keto diet book or whatever it would be. And it said, like, may cause constipation, reflux, bone loss, sudden cardiac death. And if you live long enough, cancer. Like, how many people would buy it? And I think there would probably still be people that would buy it, which is, like, a little bit scary, right? People are willing to do anything to look thinner or, to end that struggle. And a lot of these diets prey on that, right? They're they are going after the people that are desperate to lose weight and will do anything to do it. And if this works and helps them lose weight, they kind of ignore the fact that it's not very healthy to be doing it. Yeah, Nora was saying that she has a better relationship with food more than ever. And for sure, right? Because I think we talked about it last week. And that is that when we're eating these standard American diet foods, we are eating foods that have this addictive quality. So it's nearly impossible to not overeat on them, right? Like, you have a bite, you have to have another bite, you have to have another bite. Like, I mean, like, even the potato chip people used to, like, have a commercial on that, right? Like, can't just eat one. No, of course you can't, because our brains are wired not to eat one of those. So it's so much a better relationship with food when you're eating real food, when you're eating the food that gives you the pleasure that our brains are supposed to have from food, not the pleasure that's been manufactured in a factory with, like, just the correct amount of fat and sugar put together to make it addictive. So for sure, I mean, I have a better relationship with food now than I ever did as well. Mhm. Yeah, Margaret saying, right, they probably even with that warning sticker, people would still do it. Right? Because people still smoke, even though they know that it causes cancer. That's the addictive quality there. I've been focusing not on the numbers on the scale, but becoming healthy. So I'm not a slave to crappy food, for sure. And, I was never hugely overweight. My issue was a health issue. I had high cholesterol from a young age, but I lost, like, those last, 10, 15 pounds that everybody talks about. And when I really got serious about this journey, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, and I decided that was it. I was cutting out those standard American diet type foods, the foods that I knew helped to raise my cholesterol. I didn't eat a lot of animal protein, but I was still eating the sugary foods that I knew were processing in my body that way and creating cholesterol. So I lost maybe 10 to 15 pounds I lost. And those are the hardest pounds to lose, right? Like, the last 10 to 15 pounds. And I remember doing the same exact thing, Margaret. Like, I just focused on eating the healthy foods. I focused on that. And every time I got on the scale, the number was lower. And when I say every time, I didn't get on the scale every day, but maybe it was every week or every 2 weeks or whatever it was when I would get on the scale and the number would go down. I'd think, how in the world is the number going down? Because like at this point, I'm like, well, I'm at a pretty good weight, like this is a pretty good weight for me. And I'm eating so much, right? I'm fueling my body so much. How am I possibly losing weight? But I kept losing and losing and losing. And I think that when you take that focus from weight to health, that sometimes can happen, right? Like we like immediate gratification. So, we like seeing those numbers of scale going down. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, right? But when we focus on health so often, that just follows. That's like the natural side effect of it. Yeah, we know what we should eat, right? Like Nora says, isn't it funny that we know what we should eat versus what we want to eat? Like we know it. Like we can, you know, I mean, when you could go and eat at a buffet, right? Like there's a huge buffet, you know what you should eat, but what do most people choose? We used to go on cruises. My kids love cruises. So we would take cruises and my husband would always joke, like, I am one of the only people that go on cruises and lose weight. And I'm like, of course I lose weight. Like I have salad cut up for me every single day. It was like phenomenal for me to be able to go and get all of the fresh veggies that I wanted to. But clearly, like looking around, right, other people's plates were not piled with salad. And if they were also piled with like blue cheese salad dressing. So, right, we pretty much know what we should and shouldn't eat. Just don't always do it. And that's the mindset component also, right? That's the component. And I don't think I put it in here. I think I have it in the description of the Eat to Live Academy and what we do with the private coaching. And that Eat to Live Academy is open right now for another couple of days. And that really works on the mindset. And that really helps like you figure out, well, if I know that I'm supposed to eat this, that's what I eat, right? That takes that next step. Hi, Lori. Thanks for popping on. Yeah, she got lenient on her eating, which led back into becoming addicted to certain foods, right? Now you feel like it's a life or death situation to get back to healthy eating. And sometimes that's what it takes. Like sometimes it takes the motivation of it being so extreme to start us back on the path. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But it's a slippery slope when we're eating those foods that are manufactured to be addicting. It's manufactured to be addicting. Come on. Like there are food scientists in labs creating food that they know will make us addicted to it. That's how they sell it, right? Like how is that even allowed? But that's topic for another day. Alas, I digress. I digress from chapter 3. You have 80 or more pounds to lose from Margaret. Yeah, and you know what? It's what's the next best step you can take, right? We don't have to know. You don't have to know how you're going to lose 80 pounds. All you have to know is how you're going to stay healthy for the next meal today. That's all you have to know. And that's it. Just the one step at a time for sure. He talks about the 3 basic principles of dieting, which is if you lose weight, don't gain it back. Yeah, like we would all like to know that. We would all like to do that, right? If you change your diet, change it forever. And that's what I'm talking about here. And the longer you remain overweight, the higher your risk for heart disease and cancer. It's the strain that's putting on your body. So, create a diet or a way of being that's stable, that's a lifestyle change and not one that's in constant flux. Like it's not, I'm going to do good today and bad tomorrow. Like let's create something that we can just sustain and fuel our bodies and be healthy with. He talks about fast food and he kind of brings it from fast food in like the drive-through sort of sense to incorporating sugar and milk and flour and oil, all of those foods that flood your body with the empty calories, like chocolate and cake, like all of those foods are fast foods. And by fast, like just imagine it goes into your body fast. So it goes into your bloodstream immediately. Your body doesn't even have time to burn it for energy. So it's like, oh, here, imagine like, imagine the garage door opening. It's just like, here, take some fat, take some fat, take some fat. Like that doesn't take any work to get there. So that's how it easily gets stored in fat. He talks about hormones and how they get out of whack. And I think I talked about it on Facebook right before I got on here on YouTube. And I'm not so sure people care about the science as much as I was like kind of nerded out by it. But just like you become insulin resistant when you have like diabetes or pre-diabetes, you can become leptin resistant. And leptin is a hormone that tells us when to stop eating. So we don't really need to know all the ins and outs. If you want to know all the ins and outs, let me know. I'm happy to tell them to you. But, the moral of the story here is we need to rebalance our hormone levels. And how do we do that? Because we don't want it overworked, right? Just like we don't want our pancreas to have to overwork and burn out producing insulin, we don't want to be resistant to this leptin as well. So, what Dr. Furman talks about in this book is eating the low glycemic plant foods. So avoid that surge in insulin, that surge in IG, the insulin like growth factors. Eat foods that take a long time to digest, right? And that'll help resensitize the hormones. Phytochemicals, they have phytochemicals. They're angiogenesis inhibiting. And again, I like all this stuff. I'm not sure everybody else likes all this stuff, but angiogenesis is like when you're building up in your body, you're creating, this new blood flow, all of this stuff. But what happens is that also creates like the cancer tumors. So we want to inhibit that as well. And that's what these plant foods do. If we want to, he doesn't talk about it like this, but if we want to talk about it like slow foods, that's what the slow foods are doing. So your body will repair itself because our bodies are so amazing. So amazing. So we just have to give it time, right? We just have to kind of take away the food that's harming ourselves and give it the food that'll help to repair, and our body is amazing. So, he talked about some power foods to repair: parsley, arugula, scallions, watercress. Those are some great foods to incorporate. Make tabbouleh. I was just talking about that. I love tabbouleh, right? Like that's parsley, or just add it in your salad, add it in your smoothie. Hey, parsley is a natural breath freshener too. So if you're like me and you like garlic and you eat a lot of garlic, maybe you want to add some parsley to kind of offset the fumes, the garlic fumes that we emit. We copied the list of foods for the stop eating hormone on a sticky note and put it on the cover of the book so that you can look at it before making your salad or shopping. So good. So good. Yeah. And it all starts with that shopping, right? So I do the majority of my shopping online. I know I say that all the time. People are like, yeah, Karen, we know you shop online. But I do that because I can really pay attention to what I'm ordering at that time. So I know, right? You have that sticker right there. It's like, oh yeah, this is what I need. I'm doing my salad this week. I might have sometimes I like to keep it super simple. So I might have like lettuce that's already pre-washed for me and chopped up that I buy. And then, let me make sure I get some watercress or parsley because I can add that to my salads as well. I always have scallions because I love scallions. Even arugula, although I keep putting arugula on my order and not getting it. So maybe there's a whole run on arugula lately. The phytochemicals also help to kind of break down those fat cells, apoptosis, like the breaking of those fat cells. Phenols, I said that all earlier. Polyphenols, those are plant pigments, and they help your gut health, right? So there's so much talk nowadays about the gut microbiome. It's so fascinating to me. Maybe we'll pick a book about that one of these days, but so much is tied into our gut and the type of bacteria is there, from mental health to physical health. So, we want to keep the kind of bacteria, the good bacteria that we want. Those are the ones that we want to feed. So, when we're feeding our bodies all these simple sugars, we have different bacteria that like those simple sugars, and they're not super good for us. Like those are the bacteria that we don't want. We want the bacteria that like are eating the beans and the parsley. Like that's the kind of bacteria we want in our gut. So wrapping it up there, eat beans, eat greens, eat tomatoes, eat seeds, eat berries. We want all those foods for the healthy fat metabolism, right? Like we want to not be able to store fat so easily, right? We want to rebalance ourselves and our hormones, and we want to live a long time and feel good while we're doing it. So the same diet that prevents cancer also prevents fat storage, also prevents hypertension, right? Like we know what to eat. So there's one diet out there for multiple issues. He talks about, if you have the book, I don't know if you have the book, if everybody listening has it, but on page 87 in the book, page 87, yeah, he has that the table of foods that fight fat. And listen, you can go to the perimeter of the grocery store, right, in the produce section, and find the foods that fight fat. But he gives a list, so I thought I'd read it to you because, hey, it's cool. We're all like, what foods can we eat that'll like bring our nutrient and our health power even a little bit better. So artichokes. Who doesn't love artichokes, right? You can either buy artichoke hearts, you can buy the whole artichokes and steam them. When I was a little girl, we have family in Los Angeles, and we flew out to Los Angeles to visit our family. And it was the first time I ever had an artichoke, and I fell in love. So we went back home. We lived in South Jersey, and I will never, my mom's going to kill me for saying this, but I will never forget. We got them because we wanted to be fancy like our California family. And we made artichokes, and my mom put the artichoke like leaves down the garbage disposal, and it completely like backed up our garbage disposal. And we had to have I don't know, what are they called, like Roto-Rooter or whatever it was. We had to have somebody come out, and he was like, somebody like put a tree down the garbage disposal, and we were like, oh, I don't know, like, we kind of like played dumb on that one, but it was so funny, right? Because we had never eaten it before. We didn't know. I mean, hindsight, it was many years ago. I'm probably 35, 40 years ago that this happened. Probably 40 years ago. That's crazy. So yeah, if you eat the artichokes, don't put the leaves down the garbage disposal. Take it from me. All right. Alas, I digress. Arugula, black raspberries. I had asked the Facebook group before, are black raspberries blackberries, or are blackberries different from black raspberries? If you know, please tell me. If not, I'm going to have to research after I hang up and figure that out. Blueberries, we know those are great. Fresh or frozen, you can get them. I always have them frozen in my freezer just in case. Broccoli, cauliflower, collards. Again, I have those frozen right now in my refrigerator. Eggplant, garlic. We already know I enjoy garlic. Green tea, right? You can brew the green tea. Kale, lettuce, mushrooms, parsley, pomegranates, right? Around like November, pomegranates are plentiful. Pumpkin seeds, red onions. Being careful of the recall with the onions that's going on right now. Scallions, soybeans, edamame. I have edamame all the time. It's in my freezer right now. I eat it myself. It's such an easy snack. If you have company, I bring it. Well, back when we used to get together, I would always bring it. If it was like bring a dish, I'd bring edamame. It's filling. It's healthy. People like it. It's fun. I have it all the time for my kids, right? So I'm prepping dinner, and I just steam some edamame, and I put that out as like a first course with some veggies. And it's a great healthful way to get in some fiber and some nutrients. Strawberries, tomatoes, turmeric, watercress. Oh, Victoria, thank you. Okay, so black raspberries and blackberries are different. That's so cool. I'm gonna have to check that out. For sure, I'm gonna have to check that out. Thank you for letting me know, Victoria. I love learning about food. Let's see, what else? Eat 3 substantial meals a day, right? With the right kinds of foods. We used to talk about grazing all day long. I was a huge grazer. I still don't always just eat 3 meals a day. I try to, but sometimes sometimes my third meal is like a little bit longer. Like maybe I get a little hungry a little earlier. But eating substantial meals so that it gives your body the rest in between, even eating 2 meals a day. I have a lot of clients that do fasting will eat 2 meals a day. So have those meals with the right kinds of food, right? Really fuel your body with these high nutrient, low calorie dense foods. Start with a salad. Always start with a salad or soup. Maybe make salad that main course of your lunch. And then for dinner, start it with a veggie soup or a salad. And that's just a way to make sure that you're getting filled on the right types of food, and that you're getting those foods into your body right away. Make it big, right? Like, I don't know, like so many people have this little bowl of salad, and it's like, that's not the food that you really need to be limiting. Like, rethink your salad. Like, even if you go and you're ordering out, and they have, or you're ordering in, or you're going to a restaurant and the first course is a salad, most restaurants, some of my clients all like, invite them to share the restaurants that they go to with me. And then we look at it together, or I look at it and I give them suggestions for healthy foods at the restaurants. And 96% of the time, it's not an issue at all to find something healthy. But I've had a couple of clients stump me lately with healthy ideas at these restaurants. And so these restaurants have like a side salad. So you even rethink the side salad, like ask for like a double or triple order of the side salad, right? Why not? Like that's basically that side salad. You could quadruple it and that'd probably be like the right amount of salad to start your meal with for sure. He had this quote that was really funny. It was half of all Americans are on a diet and the other half have just given up dieting and are currently on a binge, which is funny, but also sad, right? So we don't want to be on a binge and we don't want to be on a diet. We would just want to be on this healthy journey, right? We want to feel good. We like most of the people that I talk to, most of the people that I work with, they just want to not have food be such an issue. Like, can I just eat food for fuel and I move on? I'm not thinking about it all the time. And that's what we do when we create a lifestyle. So eat a tiny amount of salt. Like don't add salt. That's one of his suggestions, right? Salt, oil free, salt free, oil free, sugar free. Eat small amounts of animal products if you choose to eat any at all. Eat large amounts of veggies and fruits and beans and onions and mushrooms. And then be active, exercise daily. Make sure that it's okay with your doctor. But that's one of the things that Dr. Furman's talking about. Move your body and, rethink what exercise looks like for you. It doesn't have to be a 45-minute exercise video. It can be, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes in the evening. It's figuring out where you are. And like I just said, taking that next step along the way. How can we get you just a little bit healthier? Because that's all that this is about. Any questions for me on chapter 3? Hi. Green, white. Hello. Let me know. Do you have questions for me? Like, what did you love? And tell me, what can you do this next week to incorporate one of those foods maybe into your diet? Like maybe parsley is not something you normally incorporate into your diet, or watercress isn't something you normally do. Can you get some at the store this week? What could you put it in? Do you typically have smoothies in the morning? Maybe you could add just a handful of parsley and you wouldn't even know it in your smoothie. Or, maybe like you want to make some tabbouleh for your salad, or you just throw it in with the greens in your salad, or it's like basically used as what is that to make the plate pretty? Help me out here. Oh, something pretty on the plate. So maybe it's just a decorative part of the plate that you end up eating, right? Like you get to eat those decorative parts of the plate. It's so funny. And when people would put kale under the plates to make it look pretty, I'm always like, oh, awesome, kale. Like that's what I eat. And they're like, no, it's the decoration. I'm like, no, it's kale. Like this is what we should be eating. So think about like what changes can you garnish? Thank you. Everyone's screaming at me. Garnish, come on. Yes, garnish. Thank you, everybody. Gosh, sometimes I get on here and my brain all of a sudden just like go blank. I can't think of the word. So what kind of garnishes can you eat this week? Start to think, what is just one change that if I did this week, it would just incrementally make my health better. And it's something that I could do lasting. Oh, can you tell me where the videos for chapter 1 and 2, please? You know what I'm going to do, Lily? I'm going to come back. Oh yeah, Lily, number 1. Thank you, Margaret. Go to Facebook. If you have Facebook and you go to the Watering Mouth on Facebook, you can kind of just click videos and you'll see them there. I have some links to like kind of find them through YouTube. So if you don't have Facebook, let me know. And I will come back when I hang up and I will link them for you. Interestingly enough, I couldn't find chapter 2. I went to look the other day and I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm not a YouTube expert, so I might need to look a little bit deeper, but I can definitely link you to chapter 1 on YouTube. So I will do that. Thank you for asking. So next week, we are going to start the part 2 of the book. So part 2, and it starts on page 99, The Power of Real Food, right? I'm so into just real food. And he talks about G-bombs. He talks about all these things on here. So Sherry doesn't have Facebook. Hey, no big deal. I'm here on YouTube. You don't have to have Facebook. You can watch on YouTube. So I will try to find those links. You can just search on Sherry the Watering Mouth for virtual book club. I usually put that in the title, and that should help as well. Make sure that you are on the email list also. And you can get on that email list by going to the Watering Mouth. I'm sure somewhere on there you can sign up, and then you get on the email list, and then it sends out the link that day for the YouTube video. So I would recommend doing that as well. Make sure you're getting the emails. Tell me, is there something else that you would love for me to be talking about during these book club sessions? Do you like that I'm adding, some little tips here and there, or are you like, come on, just tell me exactly what Furman says and don't add your own 2 cents into it? Let me know. I'm here. Have a great, great weekend. Oh, you love the book club. That makes me so happy. And I am going to take another book when this one is through. I haven't decided which book yet. One of my clients, actually, I was going to do a different book, and one of my clients suggested that I do this book for my first book for the book club. So I'm always up for suggestions. I love nutrition and I love reading. So I will pull any book out to talk about. So if there's one that's like particularly interesting to you, let me know, and I'm happy to do that one next. I think there are 3 chapters in the second, so we have another 3 weeks of this book. And I also, like, if you have time and you want to do one of these recipes in the back, let me know which one you did, right? There are tons of Dr. Furman recipes. Let me know, and let me know if you like it, because I love cooking and I love sharing recipes. I love all of that stuff. So keep me posted on it. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope you do something for your health this weekend, and I will be back next Friday. Take care. Bye-bye.